In the previous videos, we've learned how to calculate the cost of ingredients, our overheads, our labor, and now we're going to calculate our profit. In case you're new here, hi, my name is Angashi and welcome back to my channel. In case you have no clue what I'm talking about, I'm going to leave a playlist called Pastry Economics either in the cards or in the description bar, where I've been talking or guiding you proper calculation for the cost of your cakes. And I am extremely sorry because I genuinely thought I posted or even filmed this video last year, and had it not been for Ashley, I would have genuinely never done this part because I thought I already filmed it, posted, but here we are. Today we learn everything about profit. Yes. First things first, I guess, basically what is profit and why is it necessary? Basically, the money that's left after you remove money from your expenses. So when you calculate, as I said in the first video, when you're calculating your cost of ingredients, the cost of ingredients is the money that always has to come back. And then you have to calculate the cost for your overheads and the cost for your labor. So once you remove that money, whatever is left behind is the profit. It might be little profit, it might be a lot of profit. But at the end of the day, profit is important because with profit, we're able to see if our business is growing, we're able to save up for future endeavors and whatnot. And also, this is not to say that if a company isn't making profit, it doesn't mean the company isn't successful, because you could be breaking even, and even little profits, maybe you're just making a profit of shillings 50 per cake, haba na haba, like kidogo kidogo. What's that in English? Every little coin that you save as extra can be used to grow your business as bonuses for you and your staff. Whatever is left behind, especially for a small business, the profit that's left behind is for you to do whatever you want with. So yeah. So for example, as I said, the profit that you make can be reused into the business. Basically what you can do is you're technically reinvesting the profits that you're making back into your bakery or whatever small business you're running, or big business. Everything is a big business here. And not just reinvesting it, you can just keep it and use it for an emergency. The best example I can give is hand mixers. Those little things, the way they wear out so fast, especially if you mainly use a hand mixer to make your cake mixes and your buttercream. Since they wear out too fast, they don't usually have a warning. Okay, kinda, you can hear the motor dying, but it would be very hard, especially if you're not making any profit, for you to, in case of, let's say I'm mixing a cake and my hand mixer just happens to die and I need to buy another one. The money I've been saving on the side, my little profits, I can use that money as an emergency fund to get myself a new mixer, so I don't have to now have to wait another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to get a new hand mixer. So profits are very essential. They help your business keep growing, and also, you know how sometimes cost of goods, like cost of flour, sugar, milk, they go up overnight. Eggs they go up overnight, so that's what usually cushions us. So say I used to buy a crate of eggs for 280 bob, but now eggs are going for 400 to 420, and some places even 500 bob. So my previous profits are what, instead of adding every single time I go buy new fresh ingredients, if things have gone up, that's where the little money comes, so that you can absorb those extra costs without having to raise your cake prices every single week that we go and find our egg prices has gone up. Next, I guess we get into discussing how to calculate your profit margin or your profit in general. Usually the profit margin for a business is usually between 5% and 20%. But this is not to say that your profit cannot be 100%, 200%, 300%. At the end of the day, it's your business. You're the one who has goals. You're the one who knows where you intend to take your business years from now, how you want to cushion yourself through your business. And so you do not have to follow the set percentages business-wise. It's your business. Even if you set a 500% profit margin, none of us is going to come and stop you from running your business like that. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to use 5% to 20% profit margin. Just for calculating, at the end of the day, you can add whatever profit margin you see fit. So in our previous video, accounting for overheads, having included cost of ingredients, cost of labor, and cost of overheads, was approximately 2,196 if you're baking with margarine, and approximately 2,700 when you're baking with butter. And yes, I am very, very well aware that these prices have shot so high. So cost of ingredients has gone up, cost of overheads has gone up. So hopefully you've recalculated properly your cost. And if you've still been baking, even your labor should have also gone up. Why? Because if you was employed in an organization, I am hoping if the quality of your work has improved following our talks, then you deserve a raise. There's no need for you. I think last time I put my labor at 500 per cake or per kilo, I think. So if my skill set has increased, why shouldn't my labor have increased? If anything, everything has gone up, so your labor cost should also go up. So don't forget to readjust the cost of ingredients, the cost of overheads, and the cost of labor. So now we calculate our profit. If we were to go with a 5% profit margin, times 5 divided by 100, it's 109.8 shillings is the profit that we would be making. So if our profit margin, if I'm choosing to make a profit margin of 5% per kilo, that would be 110 basically. Hapa ndipo hesabu iligonganisha watu wa ABC. So 110 shillings per kg. So if we add that to 21.96 point whatever it was, it would be 2,305 or 306. So round off to the nearest 100 or the farthest 100. So 2,300 or 2,400 per kg of cake as of last year, 2021, March or April or whatever time those videos were up. But if we were to go with a 20% profit margin, it would be 21.96 times 20 divided by 100, 439.40 shillings, and then we add 21.96, 26.35. That's with a 20% profit margin, we would be adding approximately 440 shillings as our profit to the cake. So the final cost for the cake would be, as of last year, April, with a 20% profit margin, it would have come to 26.35. But as I said, no one is stopping you from making your profit margin 50%. So if it was 50%, we would be adding approximately 1,100 as the profit. So my cake would be going for 3,300 shillings, and so on and so forth. So add whatever profit margin, whatever percentage suits your business, suits your business goals. Yes. The other way that I would add profit that doesn't need to have all this math calculation that confuses some people would be pick a number, just like you picked the number for accounting for labor. How much do you think you want to make your profit per cake? So if you decide all my cakes, I'm going to add 500 bob, which is almost approximately 20% margin. If I want to add 500 bob, if I want to add 1,000 bob without having to calculate, no one's stopping you. So that one is much easier. And at the end of the day, as long as you're making profit, you can do whatever you want. So now that we've come up with how to calculate our profit, I guess the next thing we can discuss is, at the end of the day, is making a profit the only goal of your business? I know the answer is yes for some and no for others. No, because what's your goal? As I said, what is your goal? If your goal is to grow into this chain of bakeries, like, what's his name? Buddy something, Cake Boss. Do you want to have pastry pleasures in South Sea, in Kilimani, in all over Nairobi, all over Kenya, all over East Africa, etc. and etc. If that's your goal, then obviously you need more profits. If that's a goal of your business, like to grow it into a chain of bakeries, chain of whatever it is your business is about, you would obviously need higher profits to be able to sustain that. So if your profits are low, which, as I've said, it's not a bad thing to have a 5% profit margin. An example I can give about profit margin, but then again, you can't keep switching your profit margin like to suit your business every single time you need to buy something. So having little profit margin makes you more competitive, but would it be beneficial for your company in the long run? Is a good question I would choose to ask myself while deciding on what profit margin to set for my business. A good example I can give myself is if I need to buy a new stand mixer in 4 months' time. So in January 2023, that first Monday of January 2023, I need to buy a new stand mixer. The stand mixer will be going for 40,000 Kenya shillings. I have 4 months to get it. If my profit margin is 5%, which is approximately 100 bob from our calculation, it would mean I have to sell 400 cakes within 4 months to be able to get it. So that it's 100 shillings times 400 cakes to get a new stand mixer. And this is also us hoping there's no other emergency at the shop. Maybe, God forbid, the oven ichomeke. The electrical oven has a problem. Nothing happens in the business. Everything is going great. All the profit we're making from our cakes is going to the mixer and nothing else. So would that be sustainable for your business? But if your profit margin is 50%, that would mean in 4 months, you need to sell 40 cakes because each cake would be giving you 1,000 bob profit. Yeah, 1,000 bob profit. So if 1,000 bob profit, it's 40 cakes, which means 10 cakes a month. If I do 10 cakes every month at 1,000 bob profit from every cake, I would be able to get my new stand mixer in time. And if luckily we are able to do, instead of 10 cakes this month, we do 20 this month and 20 next month, then it means instead of 4 months, in 2 months' time, I can be able to buy myself a new stand mixer. So those are the criteria I'd use to set my profit margin. But at the same time, remember, if your profit margin is too high, then it means like your total cost for everything would mean the price you're selling your cakes would end up being way too high. And also, if your profit margin is low, then your final price for the cake would be maybe more client friendly, but then because you're going to be more competitive. But then at the end of it, if you're more competitive, would you be able to grow your business as you want within the specific period of time you want to grow your business? So with that food for thought, what profit margin you choose to select for your business, the next thing I would be discussing would be how to increase the profits for your cakes. Number one, raise the prices for your cakes. So this also goes back to, say, in 2021, my profit margin was 15%. Okay, let's use a simple one. In 2021, my profit margin was 5%. So I was making 100 bob per cake. So now I've decided in 2022, my profit margin is going to be 50%. So now I'm making 1,000 bob per cake. So obviously, I've shot up my cake prices. I've increased my profit. So you get me. So the next point would be to increase profit would be sell more products. Which sounds funny because you're trying to make more money than you're making now. So sell more products. So maybe if my profit margin is 5%, and that's what I've opted to set as my profit margin for my business, 5%, and I'm selling 40 cakes a month with a profit margin of 5%. So I'm only making approximately 4,000 shillings in profit per month. So I can opt to, instead of doing 40 cakes monthly, now I want to do 400 cakes a month. So now I'm making profit of 40,000 shillings monthly. So one, increase your prices, or two, increase how many things you sell per month. As long as that increases your profits, that's fine. Our next point on how to increase our profits would be to reduce on costs or expenses. Number one thing we mentioned when we were calculating the cost of ingredients, I mentioned that we were doing our calculations using retail prices. So instead of buying retail, I'd recommend buying wholesale. Like in wholesale stores or bulk purchasing. Like if you can't afford or don't like to buy in bulk, or to to store bulk purchases. Like say if you don't need, because I know flour expires in 6 months. If I won't use a bale of flour in 6 months, maybe you and the bakers around you can come together, or even you and your family can come together, you buy the bale of flour, and then managawana, like you cost share the bills, like reduce on such costs. Number two, instead of baking with electricity, you can switch to gas, even though gas is no longer as cheap as it used to be. Number three would be like to save up on electricity, which is something I always do every weekend. If, say, I have to bake 3 different cakes this weekend, each cake is a different flavor, so I have to make my mix 3 different times. I don't switch on my oven. Like when I do my first cake mix, I bake, and then I mix the second one, I bake it. No, because I personally have a commercial oven. What I usually do is I first do my cake mixes, and then since my oven takes approximately maximum 10-15 minutes to heat up, to preheat, what I always do is I'll switch on my oven when my final cake flavor is at the stage where, okay, now it's just a few minutes, and then I put the cake in the oven. That's what I usually do. Like I save up on the electricity, and this is assuming all the cakes can go into the oven in one single, like go in at once instead of hazitatoshea basically. If they can all fit into the oven in one round, then I'll just wait, like store the cakes, wait for me to mix all the mixes, and then pop them into the oven in one trip. So that saves me on electricity, because if all the cakes I'm making take 30 minutes to bake, there's no reason why I should bake like each cake flavor for 30 minutes, because once I put the first flavor, I won't open my oven. So instead of me doing 90-minute bake time, I've cut short my electricity time by a third if I'm doing 3 flavors, each flavor taking 30 minutes to bake. Our next point would be remove products that don't sell. Best example I'd give for this is when I had my shop, there were things that would sell out every single day, like chapati, mandazis, tea, etc. And then there were things that even on a good week you'd probably sell like 2, e.g. cake slices. So, but I guess it also depends on the location and cost for the cake slices. And side note, if you want me to talk about my experience and how I opened my bakery, please leave a comment down below, and then I'll hopefully soon enough film that video for you guys. So when I was at my shop, things like cake slices, they never used to sell as much. So of course you take off things like those things that sell out every single day, or even if they don't sell out, only little is left, negligible. Like chapati, we'd always have like 1 or 2 pieces left, which me and my assistant could easily eat tomorrow for breakfast. Samosas would sell out every single day, mandazis as well. But cake slices, if we have 3 different cakes, and from each cake only 2 slices, only a slice has gone, and maybe even the 3rd cake you've not even cut, and maybe in your menu you have 10 different cakes that you're supposed to be cutting as slices, then you'd be having, all that is lost, because what are you going to do? Because the thing with cake is, once you cut, I've seen those TikTok videos on how to preserve freshness, but here's the thing, once you cut the cake, you can only preserve freshness for a period of time. Secondly, depending on the type of cream, if it was whipped cream, there's no way you're going to wrap a whipped cream cake in cling film to store in the fridge. If your cake has fruits inside, like strawberries, the shelf life has already reduced drastically. So if some things in your catalog are just not selling as best as they should, or as best as you want, just take them off, cut them off from your expenses, so that you can raise your profit. My next point to increase your profit is reduce on your inventory. For me, what I did was, like things like packaging, I used to bulk purchase and I even know my supplier, my cake boxes and food supplier, he asked like why I stopped buying in bulk. But then it's because I realized, like, even to date, we're in 2022, and I have cake boards I bought in 2016, the silver ones. No one uses those anymore. So I had this thing where because I have storage space, luckily, and also that's a point. Like, say if you're renting a storage place, if you're renting it, you can just decide if you're going to reduce on your inventory to maximize your profits, then close down the storage space. You don't need cut. Make as many cuts as you can to your business. But anyway, jokes aside, what I used to do is, because I don't want to pay for the rider to come back before 3 months are over, I used to buy like each cake board size, 8-inch, 10-inch, 12, 14, 16. Like, I'd get 50 to 100 pieces every single quarter. So which, looking back, that wasn't even a smart move, because at no point did I ever make 100 16-inch cakes a month, because I used to get like 50 square, 50 round. Another thing, 90% of my cakes are round. So why am I buying? I should have been buying all of them square, because that one-off time I get, because 99% of my cakes are round, but then that occasional one square cake, if all my cake boards were square, I wouldn't have ever needed to buy round ones as an emergency square board. But I never thought of things like that. I was dumb. So yeah, reduce your inventory. Like, things that, as I've said, cakes like 16-inch cake, I never, even to date, I don't even remember when's the last time I baked a 16-inch cake. Like, reduce on things you don't need to have, like, too much of. Like instead of having in stock 100 16-inch boards or boxes, just have enough for, okay, I usually do, for me, I know I don't do square cakes and hardly ever do like very wide cakes. Maybe I'll do maybe 1 16-inch cake every 3 months. So I'll have, as an emergency, I should be buying 5 of those size, etc. Like instead of now buying 100 as I used to, just get 5. You probably won't even need all of them. The next point would be to build a good customer base. And this would be in the sense of having loyal clients, value clients, return customers, etc. People who, like for me, what I would say with loyal customers is, you know, those ones who, they don't bargain, they don't complain, every single time they come back. Those are my favorite ones. With such loyal clients, even if you increase your prices, and this is what I always say, if you're offering value for the money they're paying, even if you increase your price, as long as they understand that you're not just increasing because at the end of the day, no one's stopping me from waking up today morning and going like, I feel like selling my cakes for 50k. No one's stopping me. It's a free economy, it's a free country. I can sell my cake for whatever price I want. Since no one's stopping me, good clients usually understand. Like, for example, this 2022, the way prices have been shooting, like every 1 or 2 months, prices have been going up and up and up. So yeah, value customers will always understand why you have the need to increase your prices. And given that we are all being affected, you as a supplier and them as a client, we've all been affected by our 2022 inflation. So they'd be very understanding when you say, unfortunately, due to the situation right now, our prices have gone up. Loyal customers will always understand. And that's not to say that someone who won't be able to purchase from you again is not a loyal customer. Sometimes someone can only stretch their pocket this much. So if I've increased my cost to like 4,000 bob, if my previous client, let me call them, if Mary, my client Mary can't afford my new prices of 4,000 bob, but she could afford 3,000 bob, that's not going to say they can't ever purchase from me or they'll stop eating cake from today henceforth. And so Mary can choose to go where her pocket reaches. If it's still 3,000 bob, she can now opt to purchase from someone who has increased their prices maybe from 2,000 shillings to 3,000 shillings. That's where Mary's pocket is, so that's where Mary is going to go. That doesn't make them disloyal or less valuable. Unfortunately, we're all affected by the economy. There's nothing we can do about it, unfortunately. So Faiza, my next guest on my channel in one of the videos, hopefully the one that will come after this one, we discuss about such things, about profits, about increasing our prices. So hopefully you guys will stay tuned and watch that video. So how would I conclude our points for how to increase our profit? Raise prices, next reduce on expenses, e.g. From retail to wholesale purchasing, reduce on your overheads, remove products that are incurring losses, like close down your warehouse, stop selling things like cake slices, and sell more products, build a good customer base, etc. So whatever means you choose to increase your profits, and whatever percentage you guys choose to have as your profit margin for your business. Basically, that concludes today's video. Please don't forget to let me know if you're interested in me to hear about opening my shop and how I run it and closing it in the comments below. Thank you so much and bye. I'll see you in the next one.